we've got it all welded together now. So she's back to one piece. It's this was a stick weld, and man, it looks damn strong. A lot bigger than factory welds. You know, I know size doesn't dictate strength, but man, this thing is rock solid now. So still got some holes to drill. Like I said, still got a little bit of finish work to do back here, but I'm gonna go ahead and get the axle back under it and everything, so I'm not relying on jack stands while I'm underneath it doing some stuff. I gotta pull the drive shaft off. We're gonna have a drive shaft shop make a shaft for it, but I've got a spare shaft, so I'm gonna cut that one down. It's steel, weld it up, so at least it's mobile. I mean, it'll be good enough for driving around the yard. So anyway, super excited to get this thing welded back together. Now we can move forward and be having some fun with it here shortly. A couple more hours, we'll be done. All right, I've been putting everything back together on the back end of this frame. I've got axle, fuel tank, shocks, exhaust I'm waiting on. It's getting routed a little bit differently. But at the back, for an easy reference point, this hanger will already have a hole here, but there's just not a hole in the frame. Drill that out, and on the back side of the bumper bracket, there's a nut, and your 15 millimeter that you pulled out of there originally is the one that goes right in there, and that gets your bumper where it needs to be. And then from there, you can drill your holes and stuff for these. Once you get your bumper in location, you can bolt in a factory short bed hitch, and since your bumper has bolt holes for the factory hitch, that also helps your location. A couple of the holes work out. Some of them you need to ream just a little bit. And then the bed bolt holes, this was the original location on the long bed. It moves forward a couple inches. From your front frame mount, or bed bolt mount, it's 57 3/4. And then your back one is 73 3/4. That's the measurement I do. I make them a little bit bigger if you need to, just for a little bit of wiggle space. Then, like I said, put all your wiring back together, button it back up, and she's about ready for a bed. All right, here's the finished product. As you can see, this thing turns out just awesome. It's a super fun truck, really good looking. The donor bed, it came off of a half-ton truck. Half-ton trucks, you can use the beds off of them. They're still 6.5 foot short bed. Just watch out for the crew cab short bed half-tons, because those are a 5 3/4 foot bed. You can use those beds, but all the measurements that I gave you will not work on this. This job was done with a 6.5 foot bed in mind, so just remember that. But yeah, it's a super awesome truck. My buddy, he's stoked with this thing. Obviously, with the bed on the truck, it's hard to appreciate how good it looks and how well I think it turned out. But I mean, that's what we wanted. We wanted this truck to look factory appearing, and by all accounts, I mean, anybody walking past this truck and not knowing what these things came from as the factory made them, you might not even know. You might not be the wiser. But I really like how we kept this truck as factory appearing as possible, leaving the spare tire hanger, cross member intact. When you crawl underneath the truck, everything looks fine. It doesn't look hacked together. And that was the goal, was to do this truck to where it looked, factory appearing. I know I've said that a couple times, but that truly was the goal of this build. One thing worth noting about this build is this truck came from Southern Texas. It was a super clean, it's a 2-wheel drive truck, and I don't think it ever seen salt its entire life. And because of that, everything came apart so easily, so effortlessly on this truck. It made my job a lot easier. We knocked this out in 26 to 30 hours, I would say. So if you're working on something rusty, just know that going in. But yeah, I hope you liked the video. I hope it helps you. I know I really was hoping for some better resources when I took this on, but I feel like we've got a great thing nailed down now, and you can confidently do this job.